Hey friends, welcome back to Juju's Journey. Today I am working on my 2026 budget. I spent a lot of time yesterday ironing out the little fine lines of things that I wanted to save for this year, things that were important to me, all the good things that I want to do in 2026. So I'm going to kind of give you a layout of how I came up with the categories that I'm going to be using this year. Of course, they can be tweaked if they're not working for me. I did do this last year for a whole solid year, and I will have to say it really does work. If you've watched any of my videos, you know I'm a 57-year-old widow. My husband died December 11th, 2024, which completely rocked my world. I was devastated. I was traumatized. It was the first time I've had to do life by myself. And I'm on a very fixed income of $3,000. That income it was higher, of course, when my husband was alive because we had his Social Security on top of that $3,000. So I had to kind of learn how to live on a budget, make sure that I was okay, that I could pay the big bills when they came in. Let's say, for example, like your house insurance, I paid for the whole year at one lump sum. So that would be, several $1,000s. My house taxes, over $1,000. Car taxes, car insurance, those big ticket items. But plus I also had to make sure that I had enough money for my electricity bill, my health insurance, all of these things. I had to make sure that I was ready for the next year. Even Christmas, buying my children and my grandchildren Christmas. And I'd watched lots of videos on a zero-based budget. And I think that is the only way to go. I love it. It helped me save money. Last year, I became 1 month ahead in my checking account. For the $3,000, I was able to, I've got money sitting in my savings account to pay my house insurance for the whole total year for this coming year in 2025. It'll be due 2026, it'll be due in February. I've got my car insurance sitting in a high yield savings account waiting to pay for my car insurance. I've saved up money last year to pay for my taxes on my vehicles in my house, everything, all because I use a zero-based budget. And I am not stressed. Last year I was totally stressed. This year I am not stressed at all. I know it works, and I know I'm going to be okay. And plus, last year was very hard. This year I'm all about moving forward, living life with joy, peace, doing things, not wasting my life under a dark cloud. I did give myself a whole year to grieve. I'm still grieving, but I'm not going to just be in that dark space anymore. So I'm making plans. I'm going to execute them. Tomorrow is the big day. Today is December 31st, New Year's Eve. And so tomorrow is the first day of my new life, and we're going to make lots of things happen this year. And I'm so excited, so excited. I haven't been this excited in over a year, and it's all because of several things that I've implemented in my life. But today we're working on, I'm just going to run through real briefly and show you kind of how I came up with my budget. So if you'll look on this piece of paper, and I hope you can see it, it's my monthly budget planner book. And you can order these on Amazon. It came in just a book like this. And I think it was like maybe, at the most, I would imagine like less than 20 bucks. It could even have been less than 10. Once I run out of these sheets, I will not order anymore because I can use notebook paper. But it does help when you're starting out to be more organized. And I know you can download stuff on the computer and do all of this on your computer if you like. I'm the type person that I like to touch and feel and write. It just helps me, process things better. So I started out with my monthly budget planner. Then I bought, and I didn't have all this at the time that I started. I bought these little binders off of Amazon. You can get them for less than $10. And they also come with the little money envelopes. But you're going to need to order extra money envelopes if you go this route. But you can get these less than $10. And so I have several binders. This is my bank binder, I think. I think this is my low priority. This is my high priority savings binder. This is for my month ahead savings binder. And this binder is for my children and my grandchildren's Christmas. So I have everything categorized in these binders, and it just works magic. This will change your whole life. If you're young, do this now. Get out of debt. Make your money work for you so you can live a stress-free life. I'm telling you, it works. I'm going into 2026 feeling a lot better than I did last year. And this is my cash wallet. And this goes everywhere with me. And I got this off of Amazon too. I probably could go get a new one. But I'm not all about all that pretty stuff right now. Maybe at the end of the year I will have pretty binders. But right now, I just use the basics. But you just put your money in your little in your little cash envelopes, and you spend cash throughout the week. It puts yourself on a budget. So with a zero-based budget, you take your $3,000. That's all I get. If you get paid once a week, you take that money and you spend every penny of it before it hits your checking account. You have to give your money a job. I get $3,000 once a month, so I have to give $3,000 a job every single month. And so you do have to budget. It does take a little bit of time, but me, since I get the same thing every month, I can pretty much stay on the same budget once I tweak it, and it's not that stressful every month whenever I go to get cash out of the bank to do my envelope stuffing. And then what you do is you take what you've got coming in, and then you put down all of your bills. So I have my health insurance, my water bill, my electricity bill, my phone bill, my internet bill, my checking fees, my car maintenance service plan, scrubbies, and a subscription. And on here I also have gas. Those are things that I have to have every month, no matter what. It will come out of my checking account because all of these are drafts, bank drafts, and I also buy my gasoline for my car with my debit card. So I want to make sure I have at least a certain amount of money in my checking account every month. I'm going to switch papers with you guys while I go over this, but this was my rough draft budget sheet. I've ordered these little plastic, I don't know what you call them, envelopes, clear. You can stick your paper in, and you can take a Sharpie and write on it. The paper, as you can see, does not budge. You can do both sides. And then when you're done, you can take rubbing alcohol and clean the whole entire thing, and then keep using it over and over again. I love these things. This is what a lot of teachers use in their classrooms. You can order these off of Amazon as well. These are by Mr. Penn. So I use these whenever I'm scribbling so I don't have so much paper waste. But like I said, I'm a pen and paper girl. I love that. But once I got my budget kind of tweaked, I wrote it on my budget sheet. I do not necessarily, I have to change the categories because I have a lot of envelopes that I stuff. But you'll see how I do that. So we have our gas, we have everything. So in my checking account, I have to have $1,016, no matter what, because that's going to be drafted every single month. If I would recommend that if you have bank drafts, you would also want to keep an extra $100 in your account just in case you miss something. And I would watch my account daily to make sure that you didn't forget about something, okay? The last thing you want to do is get yourself in trouble because you overdrafted at your bank. So maybe play around with it for a month and leave, $500 extra in your account until you get good enough that you know how to manage your money. And then I write down my high priority bills. These are things that I know, no ifs, ands, or buts, that I have to pay. I can't say, okay, I'm just not going to do that this month. Like you can say, I'm not going to buy clothes this month, but you cannot say that I'm not going to pay my house taxes. You can't not pay your house insurance or your car taxes or your car insurance. And then plus I pay someone to prepare my taxes every year. And it was very expensive last year. It was over $450, I think. It was crazy. And it was a simple tax return. Everything's going up. So I want to go ahead and have that money in place 2027 so I don't have to worry about it. So I'm going to go ahead and start saving up now for my future so I will not be stressed. So what you would do is you would take your house taxes, and in my case, my house taxes this past year, it was like $1,100. So what I'm going to do is I've set a goal for like $1,200 just in case they increase. And then I divide that by 12. And then I decide how much money each week I'm going to stuff. Because I like stuffing my envelopes once a week. And I'll explain that to you later, even though I only get paid once a month. But I know how much I need to pull for that every month because I put month on this side. And then I broke it down to the weekly amount on the left-hand side. And then the next important things that you have to have is like you have to have your groceries, so you need to make sure that you set enough money aside to eat. So that will come later. I put it over here, but you need to make sure those are your most important things that you have to fund every week. The rest of it is just where you want to send your money, okay? The things that are important to me is saving up for house maintenance. I do have to do house maintenance, and only $5 a week really is not going to do it. But hopefully as I get more ahead, because I'm already 1 month ahead, if I get 2 months ahead, 3 months ahead, my goal is to be 6 to 9 months ahead. I'm going to have a really big emergency fund that I will be able to take care of some of these house maintenance issues that I have going on. But right now, this is for me wanting to do my goals, like paint a room. I do not need to decorate, buy anything decorative, because I can redecorate my house with all the things that I already have in my home. I need to downsize. I need to get rid of stuff. But if you are starting out and you're trying to decorate your home, things like that, you might have a category that says home decor. And you just save up for that lamp that you're looking at, or you would save up for that rug that you might need. Me, I just made a category called house maintenance. I've got car maintenance. That would be like for tires. My car's new. It's paid for. The only thing I can see that I would need for my car would be tires. And I saved up enough money last year that I do have money to put tires on my car. And that money is sitting in my high yield savings account. Once you get enough money saved up, I do recommend, I watched all of these people who do this and have been very successful. They do open up a high yield savings account. Me personally, I opened up an Ally high yield savings account, ALLY. It's giving me about almost like 3.5% return interest on the money that I have placed there. And I don't have a lot of money in there yet. I think I've got close to $7,000. And I'm making over $10 a month on interest. So the more money I save and put there, the more money I'm going to get back make off of my money. My local banks around here, they can't touch it. So, of course, I'll keep some money in my savings account to get my hands on immediately. I'll keep $3,000 because I'm 1 month ahead in my checking account. And then I'm going to take everything else and put in this high yield savings account so it can make money sitting there in my account. It makes sense to me. And the more money I put in, the more money I will make. $10 may not seem like a lot of money, but that's $120 at the end of the year, you know. That's more than I had last year, just put it that way. I have emergency medical savings month ahead. Christmas child, because last year we adopted 2 little girls for Christmas. I want to do that again, but I didn't save for it last year, so this is a new category. Fire department, I want to give money to them because they adopt like 100 families at Christmas. And I also want to put back to give monthly giving, like it should be more money than that, but right now I have to start off slow and steady because I don't want to jump the gun and put myself back into being overzealous, you know. I don't want to say, oh yes, every single month of my life I'm going to give $300 away. That's what my mentality was like 2 weeks ago. But once I sat down with my budget, I realized that last year I was on such a tight budget, like very tight, that I really did not have enough money to do much. And if I did do anything, it really set me back. Like even going and walking a 5K, you know, you pay $55 to enter. You have to buy gas to get there. You're going to eat lunch. So you're looking at spending over $100 just to go have one afternoon or one morning of entertainment. I didn't have that in my budget last year. And so whatever category I had, you know, I'd have to save up for it for 6 to 9 months just to do something simple. And I don't want to do that to myself this year because this is all about me moving forward, and I'll be able to give. I just have to find my little, my rhythm, you know, my rhythm of how this new budget's going to work. And that's what's so glorious about this, because you can change it. It's your budget. You know, you can tweak it any way you want. I did make a new category on Easter because last year I did not save up for Easter basket gifts for my grandchildren. Thanksgiving, I did not save up for the food that we were going to eat. And, you know, that's expensive when you have a large family. And I did not save up for the food that we were going to purchase for Christmas dinner. And that's a large chunk of change. I know for Thanksgiving we all chipped in, and each of us chipped in to put our money's worth in. If we decide to do that, that's fine. I'm still going to save for it. If I have to buy it myself, that would be a blessing to me to give back to my family. But if we all decide to chip in, then I'll take that extra Thanksgiving money and put towards something else later. It's just saving money, you know. I need to put more for pets and vet, but right now I'm just going to do $20 a month. I have already previously saved last year for my pets' vet bills for this upcoming year. And I also have a pet emergency savings. So I'm ahead of the ball game, but right now I'm just going to do $20 a month. That will change over time. Personal care, you know, those are things like toothpaste, mouthwash, a new toothbrush, toilet paper, anything that you need that's not, it's not like food. You're going to die without food, but personal care, you know, you need those items like deodorant, things like that, but you're not going to die without. So, of course, that's in a different category. That's how I put it anyway. And then if you jump over on this side, I have clothes, entertainment, vacation gifts, wish list, lawn and garden, wedding, adventure. My daughter's getting married in March. She set her date over 2 days ago. So March 14th, I won't have to save for that any longer. But I do have to save for the hotel room. So that will be adventure and entertainment and vacation. So all of these little categories that I'm saving up for will help me go get a hotel room, buy food, and help with wedding things. So, you know, adventure. Hopefully I won't have to use the adventure money for the wedding, you know. Hopefully I won't even have to use my entertainment money for the wedding. Hopefully I'll have enough money with the vacation money to use. But if I were to not have enough money, the first place I would grab is for something that's non-essential, like adventure or wish list or something like that. Wish list is for something that you're saving up to buy. Right now on my wish list, I haven't decided what I'm saving for yet. I think my wish list is to get my craft room / studio upstairs going. So I'll save for my wish list and then maybe use the house maintenance money to buy some paint and things like that. I haven't quite decided. And then, of course, in my cash wallet, I have me. I give myself $50 a week, and I do not have to tell anybody how I'm planning on spending it. It's my money to do with however I choose. If I choose not to spend it all, I can roll it over for the next week and go spoil a grandchild if I want to. I can take that money and take my daughters out to eat lunch. I might want to buy them a special gift, but I'm going to save up for it with Juju. Or I may want to take that money and roll over and put towards buying paint. That's my money to spend however I choose. No questions asked. Then I give myself a weekly budget of $50 for groceries. I know this is extremely low, but I'm a very fortunate person. I eat every single night with my daughter next door. If I choose not to eat there, then I might go grab something and I'll use my dining out money. But I'll take that $50 and buy certain things for their house to cook. So I'll give that money to her, or either I'll go to the grocery store and buy items. And I contribute to the nightly meal planning. You get what I'm saying? So I add $50 to their budget for food. and then they feed me. They cook it and feed me. I do not have to cook at my house. I have not cooked a meal since my husband died, except for Thanksgiving and Christmas. I'll cook meals at my daughter's house. I'll help cook, but I'm not cooking just for myself. Lunch, I put in $20 a week because my one daughter, that's the dental hygienist, the one that's getting married, she comes over to my daughter's house, who lives next door, on her lunch break every day, and we eat lunch together. And because my daughter, who lives next door, is a stay-at-home mom. And so we eat lunch together, and we each put in $20, and we'll go to the grocery store and plan our lunch meal. So whether we eat, toasted ham and cheese sandwiches with a bowl of soup, or if we decide to eat tacos, whatever we decide to cook, we use this money to purchase. And then at the end of the week, or the end of 2 weeks, if we have enough money saved up, we'll go grab something from a good little restaurant downtown and give ourselves a little prize every now and again. So that's my $20 for lunch money. Miscellaneous, that's where I stick $10 in my cash wallet just in case I need it. Like maybe I spent $55 on groceries, but I only had $50. I can take 5 of the miscellaneous and use it in any of these categories. And then right now, this is new in my cash wallet, I'm going to put $5 a week for giving, and that may mean I'm going to save up and buy a food gift card, but if I see somebody in need and I can pull out a $5 bill and hand it to them, or save it and give them a meal card, or maybe if they're in the checkout line and they don't have enough cash, I might have enough cash to help them buy their groceries. And then I've set up my category for all of my children and my grandchildren. I have 5 grandchildren, and then I have 5 children and significant others, meaning their spouses, okay, or fiancés. So my 5 grandchildren get $5 a week, and that's going to give them $100 for their birthday and $100 for Christmas. My children, I give my biological children $100 for their birthday and $100 for Christmas. And then I give their significant others $50 for birthday and $50 for Christmas. So in these categories, I know I have to save up $200 for grandchildren, and then I have to save up $300 for my children and their spouses in each envelope. So I can tweak that, throughout the year if I feel like I need to put a little bit of more money in or take a little bit out. But if their envelopes are stuffed and they're fully funded, then I can take this money and put towards, maybe a month ahead, or maybe for giving any way I see fit. That's how you budget. It's really cool. If I get my house taxes fully funded, then I will not stuff any more money in that category. I'll beef up something else. The next most important thing you have to do once you have your budget down, you of course want to get your binders ready. And you don't have to have a binder. You can have an envelope, anything of your choosing. That's completely up to you. I didn't start out with binders. I started out with envelopes. And then I still started, and then I bought a binder and started using it. And then I've kind of added a binder throughout the year of last year. And I like using the binders. They just help me out more than just using envelopes. It just kind of makes you feel like you're doing it better for some reason. The next most important thing you can have are budget sheets. And I really think that don't try it without it, because you will sometimes get confused when you're dealing with a lot of $5 here and a $5 there, You're going to accidentally stuff in the wrong binder. You're going to come up short, It's just very important that you keep a budget sheet. And I do recommend that on your budget sheet, you write exactly what it's for. Adventure, emergency, you know. You can order they'll come with your binders, but over time you're going to need extra. I just ordered mine. They came in the mail just like 2 days ago because I'm going to start fresh. I'm going to take out last year's sheet and get rid of it and start with a new one, you know. And so every time I stuff an envelope, I'm going to put how much I stuffed and put how much money should be in this envelope. You get what I'm saying? And if you take money out, you deduct how much you take out, and you keep a running balance. It's like a ledger sheet. It's very important. And plus, it makes you mindful about your money and how you're spending it. But I highly recommend budget sheets. So once you have all of your categories that you want to use done, you want to get down to a zero-based budget. You want to make every penny that you have a job. And then when you figure out how much you're going to put in each category, you're going to need to break it down. And the way I break it down, so you can go to the bank and get your denominations, you're going to want to, like my insurance, I know I'm going to need 2 $100 bills, 150 and 15. So I put what I need there. Let's jump down to medical. I'm going to stuff $5 a week in medical, so I know I'm going to need 4 5s for the month of January. Grandchildren are going to get $5 a week, so I need 4 5s to stuff their envelope. So once you write down how many of each denomination you need, you're going to go and you're going to total how many 5s you need. Okay, so I know after I did all this, I'm going to need 10 $1 bills, which makes $10. You can buy these cute little breakdowns also on Amazon, or you can go and get fancy and have them catered to you and put your name on them any way you want. Or when I started, I just wrote all of this down on a sheet of paper and handed it to my bank teller just to make it easier on the bank teller. But, you know, I'm going to need 10 ones. I need 132 $5 bills for the month of January, which comes out to be $660. I need 27 $10 bills, which comes out to be $270. I need 58 $20 bills, which comes out to be $1,160. And then I need 6 $50 bills, which comes out to be $300. And I need 300. And then I need 6 $100 bills, which is $600. And then when I totaled all of these things up, it came out to be $3,000, which is exactly what my budget is. So I have completely spent my whole $3,000. I should have $24 left over to work with. I'm going to put it, I do in my, my bank. This is my bank binder. I do have a miscellaneous section, overflow. It will go there. And then at the end of the month, I can either choose to use that overflow money to stuff one of these categories, or I can put it in my next binder that I'm saving for my month ahead binder. You know, I'm 1 month ahead in my checking account, so $3,000 saves there. It will cover everything that's coming out. I choose to pull my bill money, so when it comes out of my checking account, I come to this and I pull it out and put it in my bank bag. It's almost like I'm physically paying my bill myself. And then I can either roll that money over towards next month, like I may not have to get $3,000 out of the bank. I can take what I have in my bank bag, and as long as I have $3,000 in cash in my bank bag for next month with the right denominations, then I'm good. I only take out $3,000. Like I only want $3,000 to spend at my house. And So it just all works out. And then I take all my ones that I need and I put those in these categories. Like my ones go there, my fives go there, my tens go there, my 20s will go there. And then each week I'll pull from this binder to stuff my binders. This is my bank for the month. It starts out with $3,000 and then by the end of the month it should be zero. You get what I'm saying? I should have zero money the last day of January in this binder. Okay, with that being said, you don't have to pull your whole budget out of the bank. I just happen to be 1 month ahead, okay? 1 month ahead. Me personally, the only reason I stuff weekly instead of monthly is because I'm scared. I would rather put my $3,000 right here, stuff once a week in my categories, and then if something were to happen that I don't have enough money to cover in my checking account or whatnot, and I have to use money and I did something wrong, like budgeting, I can skip budgeting that week. And I do not want to have to go through all of my categories and pull the money back. You know? I used to just get money each week from the bank and leave all the money in the bank until I became a month ahead. So I would just go to the bank and pull just the weekly amount out. But now that I'm 1 month ahead, I just prefer to keep the cash at my house. I have a big safe. Nobody can get to it. I mean, I have a big safe. So that's how I choose to do it. Plus, I'll have cash on hand at my house. I like having cash on hand too. So now I have my 1 month ahead in the bank, cash on hand for the whole month at my house. And then I have all my bills that are saved up in that high yield savings account, earning good interest for my house insurance, my car insurance, my car taxes. All of that money has already been saved from last year, and now I'm starting to save it for 2026. So I'm pretty much ahead of the ball game. My goal is to get 6 to 9 months. So what would that be? Let's do 3,000 times 6. Well, it would help if I turned my calculator on. So I need $18,000 in my savings account. That would put me 6 months ahead. That would also put me even better off. I mean, because if I were only doing what I needed to survive, I would only need, $1,500 a month to survive. That would include my gas, and it would also include buying food for my animals and also include buying some personal care and groceries. So I would really only need, let's say, $1,500 times 6 equals, I would only need $9,000 if it was just to survive. So right now I have 3 that I saved last year. My goal is to get up to 18,000. Does that make sense? So I'm on my way. Hopefully, I'll probably meet that goal faster than not because I have an estate that's going to close, which will give me a little bit more leeway on saving for my future. But I still will not be okay enough not to ever not budget. You get what I'm saying? You know, I was able to pay off my house, which is good. That meant, can you imagine how tight this budget was whenever my house payment was $800 last year, $790 some odd dollars? So now I have extra money just to put towards these things. And what I'm saving for is not that important. But can you imagine how tight my budget was last year? It was tight. So I am blessed. I was blessed last year too. I did not have to go get a job, so that's good. Okay, I do sell on eBay. I do have side hustles. I've always done that for pure entertainment. It's just fun, but this year I am going to ramp it up, amp it up, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to hopefully use that money. I may just try not to touch that money. It goes into its own separate checking account and just see how much accumulates over the 1 year. But if I need it to help fund like a vacation or something of that nature, I want that money to be for my adventures and vacations. That's what I want to put my work. I want to work so hard and do so much instead of being lazy. I want to have a goal to work towards. So if I can work my honey off and put money into that account to go on adventures with my family. We want to go to the mountains as a whole family and rent a huge house so everybody can stay in. If I can get to that point of working for something that we can all go to and have an adventure, a memory, go to the beach, go to the mountains, just go on lunch dates with my friends, just adventures, whether it's going to a new town that I've never been to, like the adventure of me going to a wedding. What if I get invited to go somewhere and I can't afford it? I'm going to work my butt off to be able to afford little things like that throughout this year. So that's a goal that I have. That's my focus. Okay, so I think we've talked about everything. I've told you how I write down this. I give this to the bank teller, and they give me back the cash. I do have a bank bag, but I don't have it where I am right now. And so that's all I do to set up my monthly budget. But then I do go an extra step. I do ledger sheets. Okay? I like ledger sheets. I know I can do this on the computer. I just don't know how to do it. But like I said, I'm a pen and paper person. I like to touch, feel, have a relationship so I can be mindful of everything. So once you set up this, it doesn't take much time. Every month, at the end of the month, I do set up a new ledger for all of my categories. And I keep all of my receipts, and I go through the receipts. If I went to Walmart and I bought, let's say, I bought some groceries, I bought a shirt, I bought a gift for a friend, I maybe bought some potting soil, I'll come home, I'll pay with one, I'll pay at just one time, but I'll come home and I'll break that receipt and put how much I spent in each category. So at the end of the month, I can look at my spreadsheet and say, girl, you got to calm it down. Or girl, you're hardly spending any money in this category. So why don't you put less in that category and you can put a little bit more in your adventure, or you can put a little bit more in your savings. You can kind of tweak it if you can see where your money's going. And I like it because you can go back and you can say, you know what? Last year I spent X amount of money on this person. I do my grandchildren and my children and their spouses, but it's not considered Christmas or birthday. This is if I go somewhere and I decide I see a cute little shirt or something for a grandchild. I may purchase it with my Juju money, but I will write it down for that particular child. So I will have a running total of, girl, why are you giving that kid all of this and you haven't given this kid anything? You might want to say, you know what, this month you need to focus more on that grandchild. Or you may need to focus more on this child. You get what I'm saying? So that's how it works. That's how I do it. You do not have to do it that way. But thank you for watching Juju's Journey. We're going to go, tomorrow's a new year. I've been watching videos. I've been getting set up. It's going to take me a while. I've got a lot of learning to do. But lots of adventures are going to happen. I'm going to hit the road running on the 1st. I'm not going to celebrate tonight because I do not want to feel bad tomorrow. I want to feel good. I'm going to stay prayed up. I'm going to stay motivated. I'm going to try to keep positive thoughts. I'm not going to have a black cloud over my head. I'm not going to let anything set me back. You know, we're going to still have setbacks, but I'm not going to focus on it. I'm going to pray up and let God handle my stress. And I'm going to be a good steward of the money that He's given me. And try to live the best life that God wants me to live, because we are not promised tomorrow. So, God bless you. I hope you have a safe and happy new year. Please hit like and subscribe. And please leave me a message. I would love to hear from you guys. We can do this. You know that, right? We can survive and we can do this. Anyway, God bless you. Happy New Year. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.